Hi, my name is Jeffro, and this is Digital Dominance, the podcast for service-based small business owners who are ready to seize the recognition and growth that their company deserves. You've worked hard to build a business you're proud of. Now it's time for Digital Domination. Welcome back to Digital Dominance. In today's digital age, mastering social media presence is paramount for small service-based businesses who want to thrive in a competitive market. The platforms are evolving quickly and consumer behavior is always shifting more towards online engagement. So you need to understand the ins and outs of social media if you want to succeed. You can't ignore it anymore. So joining us today is Aviva Fustichenko, the capable leader behind Aviva Solutions Group. She's a prominent figure in social media management, and she has a focus on empowering service-based businesses. Her expertise lies in crafting effective content calendars and implementing robust review management strategies to kind of, it works together with the social media strategies in order to bolster a business's online visibility and customer retention. So in this episode, we're going to dive into the intricacies of social media engagement, and we'll talk about optimizing content strategies, navigating the nuances of these organic social media campaigns. And I'm going to try to extract all of Aviva's insights and tips for you guys to more effectively leverage social media in your business. So whether you're a budding entrepreneur or a seasoned business owner who wants to improve your social media presence, I'm predicting this episode will be a must listen. So Aviva, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for the introduction, Jeffro. That was awesome. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, so
Well,
listen, a super scary statistic is I want to say the average adult spends 3.5 to 4 hours a day on social media. Um, Jeffro,
yeah,
my guess is
that's a
between you
lot.
and I, it's a little higher because our clients are on there, but it's a lot.
Well, and so it's only scary if you're looking at it from a society point of view or an individual point of view, right? If you're the business owner, you can view this as an opportunity because this is a chance to get in front of them, right? And that's why we're talking about this.
Correct. So I just more so wanted to mention it because a lot of the business owners that I come across in the service industry, they may not be on their phones so much because they're busy out there engaging with their end user, with their client, but their clients are on social. So how
Right.
do we get in front of them? And I always tell them if you're not advertising where your clients are living, I call it living, which they're not really living, right? We're watching. Um, you're just leaving money on the table. So how do you get ahead of the game and really make sure that all of your potential consumers know that you exist and that you're out and about? Um,
Right. And really the shift that you have to make as a business owner is going from simply consuming social media to being one of the creators and producers on the platform, right? So putting the stuff out there that other people are going to watch rather than you watching other people's stuff.
right,
That's the
100%.
transition, right?
Right, 100%. And then again, like taking advantage of, so my favorite tool that social media offers are these Facebook groups. I know some people look at them and they're like, oh my God, I just want to sit there with some popcorn and watch people be bananas and go crazy. But the reality is it's become one of the number one referral sources like to date. People are asking the most ridiculous questions. I was on there once and someone asked for a neurologist on Facebook.
Hmm.
Like that was where they went to find a good neurologist in the area. More than likely, though, you're finding people who are asking, "Hey, my basement just flooded. I really need help with, water removal, or my plumbing is about to go. Anyone have a nice plumber?" And you'll get, depending on the ask, somewhere between 40 and 80 people responding. I call it the positive Karen effect. It's everybody wants to say something and everyone wants to be heard and please listen to me, whether or not, they actually had a good experience or not. They want to comment. So if you
Right.
aren't on Facebook and if you don't have a business page, you are missing out on opportunities to be tagged.
Right.
Um, when people ask what is tagged, it's like a digital card, right? So when someone says, "Oh, you need to, contact ABC Plumber," your business page pops up, and then it's just a matter of someone clicking twice and your phone is ringing. Versus if you
Right.
aren't on Facebook, one, you're lucky if someone remembers to talk about you, but when they do, they're taking a picture of your business card, they're posting it now. But we have a big issue with that, Jeffro. Why is that? How many people are looking on their computer when they're on Facebook? So it's like
It depends on your audience.
92%
Yeah.
of, right, 92% of people are on their phone.
Yeah.
I was looking at my one of my clients' email campaigns recently, and it was 96.8% of the people who opened that email opened it on their cell phone.
It's
So
impressive.
you have to think about what's happening when you're putting content out there. Like a lot of people are using QR codes right now, Jeffro. Like we see like the QR code's a big deal. It's great, but not if the QR code is going to pop up on my phone because I can't scan it from
Right,
my phone,
exactly.
right? It's great if it pops up on my computer. It's great if it pops up on my TV. It's great if it comes to me in direct mail, right? That all makes
Hmm.
sense. But if you're using social media, you need to know how you're engaging with people. So it's great that you have friends and family taking pictures of your business card and posting it there, but it would be even better if they tagged your business and all the customer then had to do was click it and your phone starts ringing.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense. I want to circle back real quick to
sure,
a comment you made. Facebook groups are one of the best places for referral groups and all that. And I'm sure some people were like, what? Because, a lot of people have only been in Facebook groups where it's all about self promotion, like business owners of this county. And everybody's just posting their own stuff like, hey, come to my store. We do this, we do that. And that's not
sure,
helpful. But the ones I'm guessing you're talking about are the specific cohort groups like physician moms, because, okay, I trust other moms who are physicians. If I only know my specialty, but my kid needs this, how do I approach this? What do I do? And that's when everybody jumps in, right? And so if you can create
100%.
that type of group, that's where you're going to get those referrals.
Yeah, or take advantage of the groups that are there already. So, like by us,
Sure.
we have a group, the North Rockland Community Group. It has 35,000 members.
It's a big
You
group.
know, you might not be allowed to post your stuff in there, but that's where you have people asking for referrals. You need to make sure that you're at the bare minimum a member of the group as an individual, if not as your business. And then
Hmm.
ask friends and family, hey, listen, can you like be a member of this group for me and tag me whenever my name pops up? And you'll be surprised. You only need to ask that question probably for the first month or two. After that, people who have used you are going to start tagging you again because of that positive Karen effect. At least I need to coin a new term for that, Jeffro, but I really do feel that that's exactly what's happening. But the best thing to do is don't. I'm not saying don't join the local business community groups on Facebook. Definitely join them, right? It's a way to get your brand out and your name out there. But it's more important to make sure that you're a member of the Facebook groups that's your target audience, because
Right.
that's where people are going to be looking for you and asking those questions. And they are asking, especially in the service industry. It's out of all the clients that I have, we took an electrician on, I want to say in January. He specifically was turning to us to help him build his commercial side of the business. He had a pretty good foothold in our community on the residential side, but he wanted to build commercial. And this is not typical. I like to have that little asterisk there because everyone's like, oh, it's really not typical what happened with him, but he didn't even have a business page. So we had to build a business page and then we put some content on there from. We didn't even start sharing it yet. The next week, I think we had 2 posts posted on his business page, but somebody realized he had a business page now. And they must have searched him up. His business page
Hmm.
populated. He ended up with 7 of those Karens saying, hey, contact so and so. And he landed a huge commercial deal that he probably wouldn't have gotten had he not had a business page. And that's not even content related. So it's not even like we
Right.
posted some beautiful content that was out of this world with a video that made people laugh. It was just the pure fact that he had a business page that was able to be tagged. And once this building owner, because it was a strip mall, saw that he was tagged 5 times, that says more than any
Right.
one post could say, right? That goes back to
Yeah.
the review management piece of it.
Yeah, and the reason you even need to build that business page in the first place is it legitimizes you, right?
Right.
To show that you're actually doing stuff, and it makes other people feel more comfortable referring people to you, rather than just, oh, it's this guy I know. It's like, no, no, this is the company over here that's doing these things.
Yeah, listen, the reality is back in the 80s, the Yellow Pages was big, right? You had to have a listing in the Yellow Pages and you needed to be in the Better Business Bureau. Things had shifted and evolved. Now it's a matter of you have to have a Google My Business listing and you
Hmm.
need to have some social media pages that legitimizes your business, especially after COVID. Because once COVID happened and everybody, stopped leaving the house, they were all going to Facebook to see, is this business still open? You know, it obviously it started with restaurants first because they wanted to order out and do all those things, but it
Hmm.
really did shift. Like now, if I go to a business's Facebook page and they haven't posted since 2020, my assumption is they closed, right?
Hmm.
They don't exist anymore. They haven't been posting. I'm moving on. Um, but it's just this mind shift, right? We don't have the Yellow Pages anymore. We now have Google My Business. We don't have the better, well, we have the Better Business Bureau, but it's not what it used to be. Now it's referrals and reviews and really capitalizing on what your consumer says about you. It means more than anything. Again,
Right.
the power of reviews bolstered during COVID. Um, we were all ordering and getting things delivered and not getting our product or service because we didn't realize what was happening. We were suddenly purchasing things. I've never ever actually ordered a product on Facebook prior to COVID.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know
Well,
if you know
everyone's got
what.
different preferences too for their
Right.
platforms, right? And you can't make the assumption that just because I like Instagram better, all my customers are going to be on Instagram too. A lot of them might be on Facebook. And so, like to your point, like if you're going to assume they're not in business, a lot of people are doing that. So it's just a marginal amount of additional effort to post the same stuff on other platforms.
Oh,
So there's really
and
no
they have
reason not to.
for sure. They have tools now out there also that make that so easy. It's silly not to make sure that your content can be seen across the board. I'm a firm believer that you post to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and your Google My Business profile at the bare minimum. Um, Minimally twice a week. It really doesn't need to be more than that. There's no need to be daily or 6 times a day, unless you're an e-commerce. But as Jeffro introduced me, I'm not an e-commerce specialist. I really do help people in the service industry,
Mhm.
and really 2 to 3 times a week is plenty. There's new statistics coming out now that are saying less is more in terms of the algorithms. They're starting to show if you're posting twice a week, they're going to show that post more than they would if you were posting every day. So you have to pay attention to those algorithms a little bit. And then also understand what the content is for. Like, are you posting because you think somebody needs your services right now? Are you posting because when they need your services, you're top of mind? Um, that also makes a big difference in exactly what you're doing, right? Is that organic evergreen content where it's there all the time, or is that a paid ad where you're hoping somebody's talking about the fact that you need a new roof and they've been talking to their friends and family and now Facebook's listening with their little ears and Google's hearing it. Now you get the ads exploding all the time. Why do they keep sending me I need new roof ads? Um, it's because you said it out loud somewhere. So it's
So,
important to kind of
no, finish your thought. Go
know.
ahead.
I was just going to say it's important to know what you want to achieve when you're engaging on these platforms.
Right. And that was going to be kind of my next point here. Like we started talking about engagement before we even started about content. And obviously, content's an important piece of the puzzle, but you do need to have a strategy. Otherwise, you're just going to be hoping that, well, I saw other people posting on social media. It seems to be working for them. I'll just try some stuff and hope it works. That you may get lucky, but most likely you won't. And because you don't know what you're doing or which direction you're going, you don't know if you're in front of the right people. So, how, that seems daunting if you don't know this space. So, what do you recommend for clients when you're putting together a social media strategy to help them get oriented here?
So when we take on a new client, we have an onboarding process that, first of all, it takes a lot of the pressure off of you as a business owner because you know that we're listening and not everybody is the same. Even when it comes to you know, my clients who are in the same industry. So let's talk about electricians. I have a ton of electricians on board, but they don't all do the same thing, nor is their client the same. As I mentioned, that one guy really wanted to break into commercial, but I have another client that is really interested in putting the EV power ports in. So when we're talking to our client and figuring out who their end user is, you start building out campaigns. And campaign is a scary word. So let's not say campaign. I'm just going to change it to schedule. Let's talk about a schedule. Um, and I've even taken it as far as I just open a calendar out. I'm like, all right, so we've got a month. We're going to do 2 posts a week. What's the most important thing you want? Like, what's the most important message that you want to come across? Is it that you're family owned? Are you fourth generation electrician? Is it that you do a lot of community service work and you want people in your community to know that you are community based and you support the local softball team? All of these things, believe it or not, would push people more towards hiring you. So figuring out who you are in your community, who your target is, who's calling you. Is it Is it a woman who's calling you? Is it the man who's calling you? Is it the emergency calls? Is that where you're getting most of your business from? Is the, oh my God, my basement's flooding? Is that where you're getting most of your calls from? All of these are
Hmm.
important when it comes to planning out your schedule and how often you're posting about certain things.
Right. And that brings us to the content calendar, right? Because that helps you track if you're actually doing what you need to be doing.
Yeah, 100%. And then again, as we mentioned before, there are tools out there where not only will it share your content across the board to all these platforms, but it will also tell you which types of content are doing better. So if we have this content calendar, right? I'm sure we've all heard the word, and it's again, it's daunting. We don't really understand what it is, but being able to tag it and understand, okay, well, my community posts are getting 3 times the amount of engagement as my post about the fact that I do pool lighting, right? So
Hmm.
where should I be focused more of my time on? Maybe I should focus more on community posts than on the fact that I do in-ground pools or landscape lighting. That's not getting as much engagement.
So the next natural question there, though, is, how much of that is vanity metrics versus converting to actual business? Because if some
Great
posts,
question.
hey, people like this, but it doesn't help me, I don't get new clients from it.
So that is my both favorite and least favorite question is when someone asks me what my ROI from my social media campaign is.
Hmm.
Um, and the reason for that is unless you're doing paid ads, right, where you have actual trackable conversions and you're saying, okay, well, I've got 30 people who clicked on it. From those 30 people who clicked, I had 10 forms filled out. From the 10 forms, I know exactly how much closed business I have. When you're doing organic social posts, that goes out the window. There is no true trackable conversion. What you can track, and if you're doing it properly, is you can see, again, all of these tools are pretty much free. Your Google My Business page shows you how many people are going to your website from your Google My Business listing. If you're tracking it and you're seeing, okay, well, in January, I only had 20 visits. I started some social media engagement, and now in June, I've had 100 visits. You know something's working. Um, but I tell people all the time, are you asking? So when your phone rings, are you asking, hey, listen, where'd you get my number from? And they go, no.
Probably not.
And I go, okay, well, is your phone ringing more than it was before? And they say, yes. Okay. So unfortunately, when it comes to organic posting, it is extremely hard to track conversion. If you are one of those people that needs to have a dollar to dollar comparison, then organic, hiring someone to do organic might not be it for you, might make you uncomfortable. You might want to pair organic with paid, and that would make you feel better. But even then, Jeffro, this is where we're going to slide to you. In terms of paid ads, not everybody belongs on Facebook to do a paid ad campaign. Some
Right.
companies do better on Google for a paid ad campaign, and figuring out that um, is super important. You can throw thousands and thousands of dollars into pay per click campaigns and it not go anywhere because you were advertising in the wrong platform. Maybe you should be
Right.
doing paid campaigns on LinkedIn. Like it's there's a learning curve everywhere, um,
Yeah.
and you really
Yeah. And
have to
there's
be willing to figure it out.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to all the different platforms too. So like if you're going to run paid ads on Facebook, it's because you know who your demographic is very clearly. And they might not be ready today to buy your stuff, but you know you're getting in front of the right people. Whereas with Google, there's already intent behind whatever they've typed into Google. So you know they're searching for your thing. And so sometimes that makes a lot more sense, especially if it's like, my house is flooded, I need a plumber. Okay, Google's a better place to be than Facebook, right?
100% right.
So you can kind of make those decisions. But to your point about the organic stuff, I think you're right. I think if you're looking at it as I want every post to bring me this much business, yeah, forget it. But um, it's good to ask questions for feedback so you know what is working, regardless of whether you're doing social media or flyers or anything else. Right? You need to have feedback, and then the other question is just understanding that okay, if I'm doing organic, it might just be for brand building. And yes, that does help my business grow over time. It helps convert people later because they've seen me multiple times, right? And so now they grow to trust my brand when they are ready. It's an easy yes for them. And you can't really put a number on that directly because there's multiple touch points. It's over time. And if it's not, tracked 100%, you won't know. But you got to look at those things that indicate progress, like you mentioned, phones ringing more, people are easier to close on the phone or whatever it is, that kind of indicates that what you're doing is working.
Absolutely. I saw a brain game years ago where they were talking about the brain and how your brain functions in terms of your memory.
Hmm.
And one of it was the easy retrievability of certain information. So they say the reason that branding is so important and should be part of your strategy is the likelihood of somebody needing your product or service today is low. Right. For most cases, it's low. Even in the service industry, like how many times do I really need an electrician in my home?
Yeah, not that
Right.
often.
A plumber, maybe more often, right? Because more things are obviously wrong. Um, Even a roofer, hopefully I only need to replace my roof once while I'm in it. So all of those things, you really need to think about how the likelihood of me calling electrician A over electrician B is how easily retrievable the brand is. And I talk about this all the time. There's companies that come to mind for me when I have like an emergency in my home, and they're not even local. But it's because I've seen them all over social media. They've got
Right.
commercials. I get like, and they're not even a local company. I tried calling them and they can't even service my home. But it's, branding. And the people who do it well are these really big companies, obviously, who have a really big budget. But if you think
Right.
about Old Navy, I love using Old Navy as an example. Old Navy doesn't tell you it's Old Navy until the very last second of their commercial. But you know it's Old Navy the first 5 seconds of the commercial because of their colors and the type of music that they're playing in the background that their actors are dancing to. They're always dancing, and it's always sort of like cool and relaxed. Where if you switch to the Gap, it's the same company. They do the exact same thing. And again, you can tell within seconds that this is the Gap versus Old Navy based on the type of music they're playing and what they're same with, I mean, Target's even better. You don't know it's Target until the
Right.
very end when that dog pops up, right? But you know it's Target because every once in a while there's a red lamp that pops up, or they've got a red blanket that they'll unfold, and they're doing something with the red and you go, oh, this is a Target commercial. And at the very
Hmm.
end, they show you. Those are the brands that are well formed.
Right. And branding, the reason the big businesses are good at it is because they have a lot of money to spend consistently, right? They're not expecting you to run out and buy something today. Like there's no Coke ads don't say, go buy your Coke right now. Like it's get it
Right.
at your local 7-Eleven. They don't say that. It's just about their brand and what it makes you feel and staying top of mind so that when you're thirsty, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I'll reach
it's
for a
that
Coke.
easy retrievability so that,
Yeah.
and that's where the consistency comes in posting. And that's why it's so important that, yes, okay, fine, paid ads, do it. And you should, right? If you're worried about what's
Yeah.
happening in your business today, definitely paid ads. If you're worried about what's happening in your business in general, you need to have that evergreen content, that organic stuff that's happening. You're posting regularly, you're letting people know what's going on. Um, I mean, a great
You're being
example
part of
are
the
those,
conversation. But go
yeah,
ahead.
100%. But I was going to say like the remediation companies, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I can name a bunch of them, but when I have water damage in my house, I might be thinking, okay, I can clean that up on my own, right? But if I'm posting regularly and I see it regularly, I might go, oh my gosh, this is 3 inches of water. I just don't feel like dealing with it. And now I might call that remediation company. But it also doesn't occur to me that remediation deals with a lot of things, like smoke
Right.
removal. Um, we had we actually posted for someone recently that they were helped out a renting situation. They had a rental unit, and the people that were in it prior to them were smokers, and they didn't realize that they were smokers. They had to come in and get rid of the smoke smell, and they hired a remediation company. Like it wouldn't have even occurred to me that a remediation company can help with something like that. So sometimes
Yeah.
posting triggers something in somebody that goes, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that you did that." Um, Electricians are
Yeah.
another good example. Like I think of them for most things, but wouldn't occur to me with the whole EV. So like
Right.
the electron, like it wouldn't occur to me. Um,
Right. Until you go that route and you're buying the car and you're like, oh, I need someone to install this for me.
right. So top of mind, making people aware of all aspects of your business, um, and just consistent. Be as consistent as possible.
Yeah. One last thing I'll mention though, if you really want to be able to track the effectiveness of a post, every once in a while, on one of your posts, just put a code in there, like mention code XYZ for an extra 5% off or something.
It's
Okay,
funny. I
then you
was
can
just going to
count.
say that. I
Yeah,
was
count
just
how
going
many
to
times people use the code. All right, now you know, but don't do it on every post, obviously, because that's not the goal. But that can give you some markers over time to show that, hey, my exposure is increasing. More people are paying attention and actually using these codes.
Yeah, I have people who also set up different phone numbers for their social so that
Right.
they know if that phone number is being called, it came from social media. But in all honesty, guys, just ask. Like you should be asking anyway,
Yeah.
because if it was a referral, you want to be able to thank that referral. Um, Jeff, I'm sure
Yeah,
you get
definitely.
this all the time. Whenever I ask, they always say online. I found you online. That's awesome. Online where? What does that mean?
The internet's a big place.
Online, right. But yeah.
So get specific. But anyways, we got to wrap up. We're at the end of our time. So thank you, Aviva. I know we could keep talking about this. There's a lot more stuff we could get into. Social media is an amazing tool, guys. I mean, if you spend the time and create a strategy like this and just be consistent, it can have a big impact on your business. So if you guys are listening, go connect with Aviva. She actually has a discount for listeners of this podcast. So please take advantage of that. Do you want to tell us what that is
Yeah,
real quick?
absolutely. So we're doing a couple things right now. For our review management, we're offering the first month free. And for our social media package, we are waiving the onboarding fee. So give us a call and we'll let you know how that works out for you.
And mention the Digital Dominance podcast so we can track where you came from.
Exactly.
So, Aviva, do you have any last thoughts for us before we end?
No, just not really. Thanks for listening. Be consistent, and consistent means stick with your brand too. So don't go hopping in colors and fonts and themes. Pick a theme, stick to it, and have fun. I mean, it is social, guys. Be social.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for being here, Aviva. Thanks to all you guys for listening. Don't sleep on social media, guys. It's getting more important than ever. So go dominate the feeds, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Dominance Podcast. This show is brought to you by Frobro.com. Frobro is on a mission to rid the world of terrible websites, and we love helping our clients grow their businesses as big as our hair. Right now, Frobro is offering an SEO plus leads bundle where you can get warm leads every month without having to wait for the SEO to ramp up. To learn more, go to frobroleads.com.